Hello, everyone. Welcome to Looking Forward, Creating a Future. My name is Teresa Palomar, and this is for EDU 304 at Arizona State University. Let's get started. This class has been a roller coaster of a class. It's not a difficult class. It's just had its moments that I've had to find within myself to understand and have the ability to expand on issues I haven't really understood within myself. I really enjoyed taking this class because it helped me improve on my understanding of empathy and where I currently am at with it and what I need to improve on. The strengths that I possess that really have helped me succeed in this class have been open-mindedness, where I have the ability to go with the flow and try new things. Another strength I had going into this was inspiration. I am very easily inspired, and if I'm able to find an interest or connection within the lesson and my life, it makes me work harder to want to do better and be better. One final strength I have is sympathy, which I know is not the same as empathy, but I think understanding how sympathy works and how it differs from empathy has really helped me understand where I'm at with empathy and where I need to improve. According to D'Souza, we all tend to recognize patterns, which means we go with what we are used to. When we have gone through something familiar, we tend to pick up what's familiar. And when we become stressed, we might not have time to pick up the familiar that we're used to thinking under stress, which can cause harmful effects because of the conditioning created. I think that my strengths with having an open mind will help me succeed in this track because I'm quick to think under stressful situations and calm and clear situations. Having intrinsic motivation, according to D'Souza, is being content with what you have rather than doing something for the reward. My motivation comes from within. Teaching isn't a job where I'm going to make a six-figure income. I will only benefit from knowing that I've helped someone's future. Something that motivates me is that I've always wanted to be someone who's made a difference in the world. I have jumped around from a police officer to a firefighter, joining the military, or somewhere in the medical field. I have always wanted to help create an impact or a difference. I broke my femur at a young age, so that did take away a lot of physically demanding opportunities because I couldn't run. One day, I was thinking about how I love to teach and help others understand things, and becoming a teacher passed my mind for the first time. And the idea of taking a young learner and being a part of their future by creating a path for them to find their own future really got me excited and happy. I want to help kids understand the more important questions of life alongside learning math, English, science. I want them to wonder. I want them to question things, to find the answers. I want my learners to understand how to help each other and understand that their own personal ideas of one thing isn't the only way. I have always wanted to stick to the younger ages because in my mind, they are old enough to understand what I'm saying, but young enough to still have not created a permanent idea of something specific. My motivation is sustainability, not just for Earth, but for humankind, and we need to teach the future how to balance both. The leadership skills I plan on taking with me are communication. For my future classroom, I plan on having my learners understand the need for communication. The next skill is problem solving. Problem solving is very important to understand so that each learner can get through any obstacles that fall in front of them. The next skill is within motivation. I want my students to be able to stay motivated and motivate others. One other skill is collaboration. Each year, my learners will fall into groups each week and find out how collaboration works. I will also have creativity. My future learners will be wanting to explain things from monsters landing on the moon to dogs that swim. I want my learners to feel comfortable enough to balance education and creativity. And finally, I will bring along empathy, putting my learners through exercises where they will be able to find what empathy means and why it is a very important part of not only education, but being a part of society. In D'Souza's book, The Explanation of Creating Optimism versus Pessimism, is understood that as we invoke our capabilities to tackle challenges and deal with failure, optimists choose to rise above these experiences by looking through the constructive lens, which inspires learning and growth. Learning how to be an optimist can really help you live a stronger, more positive life. When it comes to the why of my career, I love finding inspiration when I decide to do something that is meaningful. When I first read about Jane Elliott, I was told to watch a video for a class and it had to do with culture. And Jane Elliott wanted to teach her kids what discrimination felt like in the most honest and appropriate way she could. The short exercise, Blue Eyes, Brown Eyes. That film is a huge reason why I decided to become an educator, because the future needs more women that are willing to show their learners through demonstration rather than just talking about it. A second inspiration of mine is Mary Cowhey. I have mentioned her in this class, but only for a brief moment. Mary Cowhey takes education to another level. Miss Cowhey has such great empathy for her learners and those around her that she has the ability to take a step back and find a way to make sure that everyone in the class understands each other's perspectives and ideas. She gives time for the most important moments in a child's life and makes them feel wanted and heard. My final inspiration is a personally known person for me, my 6th grade teacher, Stephanie Butcher. Mrs. B, as we called her, was a beautifully, intelligently, kind, well-rounded human being. She taught me many things and not only told her class, but actually taught us and showed us the why, the how, and the when. Mrs. Butcher understood the art of teaching and was always willing to take a little more time to make sure that we understood. These 3 women have really helped mold the kind of educator I wish to be. I hope that everyone and anyone that has the opportunity to come across any of these 3 women get to feel inspired the way that I did. I plan on implementing empathy and advocacy skills in my future classroom with exercises for advocacy where my students understand that it's okay to speak what you think or feel and to understand that your opinion will be heard. I will let my learners understand what independence means, as in making sure that they speak up for themselves when something is needed or wanted. According to the Inclusion Lab, empathy is one of the most critical social skills young learners can develop. Not only is empathy a primary ingredient of a bully-free school and harmonious, inclusive classrooms, it is also a skill students will use for the rest of their lives as they grow into caring, compassionate adults and good citizens of the world. Our classroom will have a weekly group meeting where we plan and communicate that week's exercise to see what we expect, and we will be comparing to what we thought would happen to what actually happened. We will write down our goals for that week, and we will move towards them to be able to look back at what we have accomplished. D'Souza explains that empathy drives human connection and allows us to move beyond ourselves and to focus on and relate to others. We have the responsibility as educators to teach empathy. According to D'Souza, pursuing a noble goal is not just about setting a long-term goal, wish, or hope. It's a statement of intent that marshals the wisdom and passion within oneself to put our emotional intelligence into action. My noble goal for this future career of mine includes becoming the best that I can be. I hope to do everything in my power to be able to be a part of the mold that is the small human for the future. Every teacher hopes to be someone who creates or makes a small difference in someone's life where they remember that moment forever. I want to make sure that I am fully prepared as a teacher to become someone to inspire. I can do those things by first strengthening my technology skills for my classroom by understanding what the web has to offer, such as Google, and how I can improve my classroom by understanding technology. Another goal is to improve my lesson plan making skills because I don't feel very confident in planning a couple of weeks worth of lessons, but I do plan on improving that by taking courses, watching videos, and asking my colleagues. I'd also like to improve my classroom management because I want to make sure that my future learners will be able to stay focused. Finally, I will make sure that my mind is right by finding time for myself outside of my work with meditation, nature, and yoga. Thank you so much